Hello, hello. Hey, Polaroid. So good to see you here again. How's it going? Great, great. I hope you had some sleep last night after our Chrome Dino session. Hey, Pradyumna. So happy to see you here. Good morning, good morning. For the folks who are joining me from IST, all right, so we are here today to get started with technical writing. And let me tell you one thing before we get started. Um, if you haven't checked in yet, you can just head over to getting started with technical writing, and here you can see I have my tab on, and you can see that you are registered, and now you have to check into this event to gain some those points. And now you have checked in, you are going to get that 1 point. Awesome. So hello again. So after you have checked in, let's get started. Now, who's ready to get started? Give me some highs in the chat or some emojis. I am super excited because this will be my first time sharing my experience as a technical writer. So, like, I am a mentee of Google Season of Talks, and this will be the first time I'm going to give a talk on it. And yeah, I mean, I have given a talk in a conference before, but this is going to be different. I hope this will be useful for all who's watching the stream right now. Yay, we got some jean stickers in the chat. I haven't got my jean stickers yet. Hope to get it soon. Alrighty, so We are here to get started with technical writing, and it will be a really basic guide for beginners. I mean, if you haven't started with any of the technical writing, or if you haven't blogged before, you are at the right place. So I'm going to be explaining everything about it. Let's get started. Uh, Hey everyone, my name is Karuna and I am a tech writer and a coach at Major League Hacking, as you all know. So I write tutorials and guides for Async API as a part of Google Season of Docs. And do you know what's the best part? Any guesses? The best part is I did not get started with technical writing way before. Like I used to write blogs, but I never got into technical writing as in contributing in open source or doing contributing to documentation. But I got into GSOD after before getting into technical writing. So I got into GSOD and then I learned all about it. So it is a great way to, I mean, explore the field even before you know technical writing or even before you start blogging. So, the main question of our topic today is, what is technical writing? Basically, it is the art of providing detail oriented instructions, let's say, just like we at MLH do check in here or register here, and we provide you with a set of instructions for you to follow, and it simplifies the process for hackers to like register for events or fill out the address forms or everything. So it is a type of documentation, but technical writing is a bit more than that. It helps users to understand a specific skill or a product. Now, let's say I have StreamYard. Now, how will StreamYard tell me to how to start a stream? It will write a documentation to prove that, uh, to provide that this is how you start the stream. Like you go log into StreamYard, make an account, you will get a code, and all this of documentation is provided. All right. So this is for a product. We have so many products in the market. We have open source tools, Firefox, or let's say we have VLC, Media Player. Every of those open source um, tools have a set of documentation. Um, hey, 404, you are not late. I am just getting started. Oh, you didn't really get enough sleep. Yeah, we are sleep deprived gang. Hello, Jill Foster. So, as I was saying, uh, I was just explaining about technical writing here. So, it is just a set of instructions. I mean, which simplifies a user. Like, let's say I'm using a product and I don't know how to exactly use it. I'm a beginner and I come to see a product which I really like, let's say StreamYard, and I want to use this product. Now, StreamYard needs some documentation to say, to attract those users, and the it helps users to understand how it works. Okay. Now, what are the benefits of technical writing? I hope you got the gist of what I'm trying to tell you about what is technical writing. Let's hop on to benefits now. Let's say I'm just writing, and I mean Shakespeare writes, or someone else also writes, but why should we opt for technical writing and not go for poets or authors? Um, Technical writing, if you are into tech, it is a lifelong learning process. So let's say I am a technical writer and I am currently writing for Async API, which is API documentation basically. And I might not write for Async API after a month. I might join another organization and they might have some other product. Now I have to learn that technology in order to write about it. So it is a lengthy process, and you are going to keep on learning about it. It's not like I am coding in a language which I know. I won't be coding in a language which I know, but I will be learning some new technologies which are using in the which are going to be used in that organization, or which are going to be developed, and I need to write documentation for the users, or I might have to write documentation for the developers for them to understand how the technology works. And it gives you a better sense of user empathy. Now you can like know how the user feels if you are looking from that point of view. Let's say uh, like I don't know anything about some product. Let's say I don't know how to run a stream. Then the technical writer should view it from the point of view of the user, and they should think, oh, they don't know anything, so they should not assume that we know technical right sorry we know how to run a stream. They should assume nothing about them, and they should be able to empathy with them. So uh, technical writers go write some steps like, first you need to install this, then you need to uh, move on to this next step, and that will be a stepwise guide for them from point A to point B. So they'll be starting with nothing to, while when they will reach the point B, they will have something to work with. All right. So this is how you should think if you are writing for a user. If you are writing for a developer, you should know your audience. Like first, if you are writing for a developer, you should know what kind of developers are you writing for. Are they good with Python? Are they good with any technology? And then you can assume that if they are good with technology, I can start with this step. And if you are using for if you are writing for a user who doesn't know nothing about the technology, you can start from the basics, and you can make money. Now this is the interesting part. Most of us would like to know how you can make money by just writing. So technical writers are required everywhere. Like in every company, there is a position for technical writer. I have been doing job searching recently, so I have been looking for technical writer roles, and every company I search for, let's say Red Hat, let's say Canonical, GitHub, everywhere, like almost everywhere, there was a position for technical writers. And we have some amazing programs like Google Season of Docs, which gives you stipend for doing that. I mean, Google Season of Docs works like they get organizations into their umbrella, and then the organizations hire technical writers to write their documentation. And at the end of the program, they get stipend. So if you are like looking for an internship or a 6 month program, Google Season of Docs is the way to go. And you can also do full time. Freelance technical writers are also there, so you can check out those options. Now that we have learned about the benefits and what is technical writing, you might want to know what it takes to be a technical writer. I mean, you can't be a technical writer just by uh, applying to companies, right? You need to have the required set of skills. So what could be the required set of skills? You need to understand the proper use of English. So if you like, you guys know that English is like used everywhere, and it should be in a proper way, and the usage should be like it should be in a user understandable manner. And you should know how to explain things clearly and simply. If you know that Einstein once said that if you can't explain something to a 5-year-old kid, you don't know it yourself. So this is how it works. And you are like not born as a Shakespeare, or you are not born with great writing skills. Then this is something you can acquire while contributing. Open source is open like for everyone, and you don't need to join a specific program to contribute to documentation. If you see some project which is missing documentation, you can go ahead, put up some issue, saying that, hey, I want to add this in your documentation, ask suggestions from the maintainers, ask suggestions from contributors, and then you can put up a pull request for that. And you can contribute to documentation in such programs too. And if you don't know, I have contributed to Flask once for the documentation. It was a really small documentation part, but um, that was something which they were missing, and I saw the issue, and I typed in, hey, I want to work on it, and they said no need to have take permission from us, you can just go ahead. And then even if I was stuck somewhere, I hopped onto Discord and told them, hey, is this the right way? Then they were like, no, they will leave you some reviews, you have to make changes, all of that process will be involved. But you can improve your writing skills by contributing and making mistakes. So make as many mistakes as you want in this stage, and you will improve like step by step. So it's not A to Z, but yeah, I was a contributor in Flask. I mean, it was just a one pull request, but yeah, I did one. So that was my yay eureka moment. That was like 1 year ago, but yep. And I will be explaining the technical writing process. Now that you know what it takes to be a technical writer, you should know what all the tasks are involved in technical writing. So technical writing processes which are involved are like understand your audience. Let's say I am doing a stream at MLH, and uh, I should know my audience. Like, you people might not know technical writing, and some might know technical writing, so I should not assume that. I should understand what kind of audience am I getting, and then make my content accordingly. Then you have to take care of user experience. Now, if you don't know what user experience is, it's just about how you can, like, is it easy to navigate, is it easy to search, is your content like really looking good, and all of that comes into user experience. Hey Sushmita, oh, she was a technical editor at Codedam for a month. That's nice. If you want to share your experience in the comments, please do go ahead. We would like to hear all about it. And after user experience, we have planning your document. Now, this involves a lot of things. Planning a document is not just one part of your program. Uh, you have to do research. Now, let me just share my screen once. uh, I would like to show how the research is done at GSOD at Async API. So you will be familiar what all steps we went through. Let me show you. Okay, so here is the Async API website, and if I go to discussions, you will see how we got started with the research. Is it not here? Wait. So basically, what we did was uh, we had this. Let's hear. This is what I did. So survey to determine which tutorials are most needed by users. If you are joining in a community or a product Slack or Discord, You can just go up to discussions and say if you are a developer, architect, engineer, or a team working on document writing, working to document async API, or a user. So why do we need this survey though? So when I joined async API, it just had two tutorials, which is Streetlights and Streetlights Interactive, and they had nothing much more than that. So we had to make much more tutorials because API documentation is important. When we are using APIs, we get into so many errors, and it's difficult to navigate. And every time you get into error, you need some human support, and you just hop onto Slack and ask questions, and it's not in the documentation. It really like frustrates us out. So we had these questions when we did the research. Are you facing difficulties or challenges while using async API? If yes, then specify. Are you unfamiliar with EDA? If you don't know what EDA is, it's event driven architecture. And are you any familiar with event driven architecture and async API? If yes, so this helps us to see from a beginner's perspective. And what else can be done to improve the current tutorials such as streetlights? So the existing tutorials were not really great at that time, so we had to make it into a style guide, and then we had to rewrite the tutorials. So how can you participate? And we just had the discussion here. So this is the same thing which I just told, and here the people will leave suggestions like this, and all of these community members will tell you that these are needed. So at the end, we come to a conclusion that we need these 4 to 5 tutorials for which community wants. So after this, what we have next is uh, outlining. So outlining your document is also important. I'll show you 1 second. When you are writing a document, then the outlines are important because it structures your document. Let's say we have table of contents, then it will show you introduction, it will show you the next steps, and then we will have some summary, and that that is how it's going to be done. So I will show you some issues where, let me just 1 second. What? Oh, community. So we have adopted the style guide where you have to write everything in the same manner so that it looks good and it improves the user experience. So we have this outline template, which is one introduction, and we have them some starting sentences. Then we have background context. So if in a tutorial, if you don't know what the background context is or what's happening, let's say someone just joined in the stream right now and you don't know what's happening here. So you need that background context. And then you need some installation guides. If you have something to install, you need to like have a guide for it separately. We have these like install node.js, install git, and all the links included. Then we have all the tutorial steps, and then we have summary and next steps. Next steps is important because we will know where to go after this. Let's say after the stream, where will you go? You might want to check some resources. So that's what we do in next steps. So this is how we outline the templates, and then we have to add some images. Uh, so if you are writing a tutorial and it does not have images, then it won't be visually pleasing, or there are some people who might want to learn visually. So um, just a second, let me pull up that. Is it this one? No. Yeah. So I'm gonna show you the preview. So we have this guide section. We have separated into tutorials and guides. So guides is basically shows you how to cook, and tutorial takes you from you have a vessel to you have a dish right now. So tutorials are just like recipe books, and it tells you what all you need, the ingredients and all the steps. So we have it in a guide right now. I will show you how we can make it more visually pleasing. So we have in guide, in introduction, we have prerequisites, and we have message validation, and see, we have this image made by Mermaid.js. So these flow charts like these make it easy for a visual learner to see how it works. Let's say we have producer, and where does the messages go to broker, and if it's a valid message it goes to consumer, if it's invalid it fails. So this is really easy without even without reading all of this written. You can just look at this and understand it very easily. So adding images where it's required is very important, and we have to use active voice everywhere. You should not say uh, the this in passive voice. Using of active voice is very important in tutorials or guides, and using of inclusive language. Let's not put any other like vulgar languages or words which are exclusive, because this is going to be read by everyone, and it's open source. So many people will come to your website or your documentation site and read it, and if they find some exclusive language, it won't be uh, a good impression on your community. And usage of definitions which are explained now. See, if I have written async API validator here, and I am going to be writing AV somewhere, and I write AV, and I write async API validator in between, it's not going to be look good. And also it will be very confusing for a reader to comprehend what means what. So if I write AV, I should mention that that is async API validator and put it in brackets, so that it's called AV. So people will know that, oh, this is constantly coming everywhere. If I write AV everywhere, people will know that, oh, it's async API validator. I have read that before. But if you are not going to do it, and you are going to write AV in some places and async API validator in some places, people are going to think those both are two different things. And you should keep in mind that not everyone will be uh, known to this technology. So like someone new might be coming and seeing your website, so you don't want to confuse them with all of those non-consistent definitions. And usage of simple language, as we have talked before, you just have to teach a 5-year-old kid. It's not necessary, because I mean, if you are writing for based on your audience, if you're writing for a developer, it does not need to be a 5-year-old kid. But if you are writing for an audience who comes from a beginner perspective, then you have to use a very simple language. And formatting, now you can see that it's in a really nice format, that you have the title, and you can see the on this page we have this, and then it's formatted like async API validation, and here is the example. All right. So, and we also have reviews. So, after writing the document, after writing the document, it is not the end. So once you have written the document, it might be not like the correct document always. You will get reviews, a lot of reviews from so many maintainers. So here I got a review that there was a lot of duplicate content, writing was too verbose, and we should focus on starting sentences with verb for each individual action, punctuation errors. So we have to take care of all of this, and then see that the review matches what they have said already. So I got some technical reviews too that you can add these sections. So once like you get these reviews, you have to again rewrite your document and keep on improving it till it gets approved by everyone. So this is all the steps involved in planning your document. So it does not end at just by planning, like I'm gonna write a tutorial on how to make an API. It does not end there. You have to do your own research. You have to understand your audience. You have to add images. You have to take care of the style guidelines. You have to take care of the language you are using. You have to take care of the definitions, like you need to mention the definitions that are consistent everywhere, and then you have to use simple language. You have to take care of formatting, and then you have to submit it for review, and after review it still does not end because you still have to make changes till it's so what the the end of this all of this is like perfect document does not exist. You always have to keep on making changes to it, and you have to constantly update it whenever you have a new bug fix or whenever you have a new feature. You constantly have to update your documentation. Now I have a meme here, a lot of boring talk maybe, but this is what my friends think I do. And what we do is we just yo keyboard tapping. So, I mean, technical being a technical writer is not something you always think that, oh, it's so elegant, I can write anything. But here's the thing: you always get end up in uh, writer blocks, or you can't think of what to write ahead. You can't properly get to mention your content, or you might not understand some topics. Some of the technical things might be hard to explain. So it's not always a bright side, and this happens. I mean, that you have to fix something like this and it's not proper. So that's why technical writers are important in the field. So just to fix memes like these. Now, where to publish your articles? Now that you know the process behind the technical writing, what are the skills involved, we have a question. How would you suggest that we get started? All right, so I was just coming to that part. How to get started? You can start by writing blogs, and it does not necessarily need to be very technical, but you can start by explaining a tool which you have been using for long, let's say VS Code, and you might have developed some VS Code theme, or you might have used some VS Code theme, and you want to explain it to other users. You can start very simple and you can start small. We always like do not want to jump ahead and go on to write bigger things. We can start from A and we can move on to B. We don't want to jump from A to Z. So you can contribute on GitHub just like I did. For Flask, you can just go on to other people's projects. You can see a lot of tools which you are using are on GitHub already. So you can go on and check out their documentation and see if they are missing something. You might want to mention a feature which you might be using, but it's not written in documentation. You might want to go ahead and start a discussion or maybe an issue and suggest them that, hey, this is missing. I would like to add it into your documentation and see how they respond. And again, we have a lot of platforms to do that. Apart from GitHub, we have dev.to, Hashnode, and Medium. So these are all great blogging platforms. And apart from that, I would also like to mention we have Free Code Camp. So Free Code Camp also features articles like these. If you write a really great article, you can uh, email. I don't think so if you can email or them or not, but you can get in touch with Free Code Camp, and they do feature a lot of articles on their website, so you can go ahead and check that out too. And if you are ready to be a technical writer, if after all of this you can just start writing and learning. It like does not have to start with a particular program or a particular project. You can even start writing by your like in your own project documentation. Let's say you have a project, and what you do in hackathons is basically write what inspired you, what all technologies you used, how you built it. You can take inspiration from that, start small, and write a documentation site for your own project and host it and take reviews from others. And now I'm going to take, if you have any questions, you can drop them in chat, so I will be answering them. I'm going through comments right now. I might have missed something. We should really do some sort of writing challenge. Yeah, we should actually. This is a great idea for next Global Hack Week. If possible, I'm gonna suggest it. If I do conduct on behalf of Python Pros, yeah, I will. I would be willing to host it. Let me know if you are like okay with that, and how would the challenge go. In the meantime, I want to share some resources which are like free technical writing courses. So let me share my screen. So we have this technical writing course for from Google. So you can see that there's all types of study technical writing, review technical writing resources, learn about technical writing role, and we have from the basics. So in technical writing one, it's all about small grammar, and we have active voice, we have clear sentences, short sentences, paragraphs. We have how to identify your audience, and in technical writing you don't need to know all of the tools which are involved. Like you, most of the organization uses markdown. That's what I saw in a lot of job descriptions which I saw. So this is what you usually do on GitHub too. uh, you use this markdown on readme. So this works if you want to get started. And then we have technical writing 2. It says self-editing, organizing large documents. So if you have a really complex document, then you might want to break it down, because not everyone would like to look at a complex document and say, oh, this is a really great one. I can follow this. But it does not happen all the time. If you see a very complex document, first thing, it overwhelms you, and the second thing, if it's really lengthy, you wouldn't want to, like, anyone wouldn't want to waste their time and keep on scrolling till they reach the point where uh, where they find the required steps. So you need to organize your large documentation in sections. So you have these really amazing course where you can see that they tell you how to outline a document, and they tell you how to outline an exercise, yeah, how to introduce a document. So if you are going to a website where you are new to a technology, you might want to see a section called for beginners, or you might want to see a section called getting started, and you will see that the getting started section is really basic, and once you are done with it, you can hop on to new tutorials and learning new things. I would suggest seeing the Kubernetes documentation. So they have a really nice sections written. One second. So if you go on to Kubernetes documentation, you can see how they have structured it. They have a getting started section, they have concepts, they have tasks, tutorials, references, and how to contribute. So if you go to getting started, you will see this section lists the different ways how to set up and run Kubernetes. So this is like an onboarding process for a beginner to go through. You can download Kubernetes, and they also have this section where you can edit this page. So basically, if you click it, you will be redirected to their GitHub, and you can fork this repository and contribute if you like. See any errors in this document, or if you want to add something, you can create an issue. So all of this are listed in the Kubernetes documentation. You have best practices. All of these you might want to know when you are getting started. So this is very well structured. And then you have concepts. So this is not only for tutorials or guides. This is where you can learn about some of the words which they usually you will see in the Kubernetes documentation. So you will see cluster architecture, containers, or whatever they use, and they have defined it here like a dictionary. So all of these concepts about which you will uh, be seeing in a lot of places, so they have defined it very neatly here. And then you have tasks. You can set up Kubernetes by using installation tools and learn about clusters. So all of these are tasks. If you wanna like, they did not repeat everything, so they just put it up saying install tools. In async API, what we did was write by writing installation guides in every single tutorial. We have written prerequisites for every single guide, but in Kubernetes they just said, here are the install tools. You can just go ahead and install for whatever things you need. So yeah, I like this one. And they have references. Let's see. So they have API references, client libraries, so whatever you will be needing for completing your tutorials. So all of these are listed. So I really like the Kubernetes documentation, how they have structured it. So I hope you all learned something new. And oops, okay. So I hope this technical writing session helped you a lot, just to get the gist of it. Uh, if you have any questions about it, I'm happy to answer it. You can drop them in chat. All right, I don't see that we have many questions. So I hope to see you all on Discord. Uh, have a great hacking again. So I'll see you in my next stream. Or maybe if you are doing hackathon this weekend, I am gonna be there for hack from the past too. So I'll see you all there. Bye.